Airports in America are now empty, with no long lines at security anymore. You can hear your footsteps on the shiny floor while seats remain cold and empty. This is surprising for a country once known as the top global travel paradise. But behind this silence hides a serious problem for the US economy today. International arrivals to America have dropped by more than 10% in 1 year. Even close partners like Canada and Germany are sending fewer visitors than before. It is not only tourists disappearing but also jobs, money, and America's friendly image. The US tourism machine is slowing down fast, and many are asking who loses. Is it politicians, airports, hotels, restaurants, or ordinary American families losing most? And will anyone still pay the cost of chasing the American dream anymore? In the past, airports were crowded with passengers waiting in long passport lines daily. Now even during rush hours, rows of airport seats remain empty and silent. In March, international visitors to the US dropped 14%, the biggest fall. To imagine this, think of a stadium with 50,000 seats suddenly missing 7,000. That is how US airports now feel, across hundreds of locations nationwide. Canada was once the top visitor, but 900,000 fewer Canadians came last month. That is like San Francisco's entire population vanishing from airport immigration counters overnight. Germany, the United Kingdom, and South Korea also reduced their visits to America. Some blame expensive tickets or a weak global economy hurting international travel this year. But the deeper problem is America's image changing into something colder and unwelcoming. Stories spread of long visa checks and tourists' phones being searched without any reason. The message is clear to travelers worldwide: America no longer feels welcoming anymore. On social media, one negative video is enough to change millions of travel decisions. Tourists quickly pick other countries where they feel respected, safe, and more welcome. Another hidden issue is the labor shortage caused by fewer seasonal visas for workers. Hotels and restaurants now lack staff, making service slower and less friendly for guests. Tourists pay high prices but often feel they receive poor and unfriendly treatment. In Orlando, one family runs a small hotel that depends on European visitors. Last year, their rooms were completely booked, but this year bookings fell drastically. Now less than 1/3 of their rooms are booked, forcing cuts in staff. Their son even returned home from school to help clean the hotel rooms. This shows how empty airports affect families and small businesses across the country. Here is the irony: Americans once complained about long airport lines and delays. Now there are no lines, but jobs and incomes have also disappeared nationwide. We traded waiting time for economic weakness, a trade far too costly overall. The U.S. Travel Association warns America could lose $21 billion just this year. That money could power Texas for 1 year or even build many new hospitals. But instead, the money disappeared with every international flight canceled heading to America. Behind those numbers are real people: chefs, drivers, hotel workers, and entertainers losing income. Tourism is one of America's strongest exports, yet it is being ignored today. Take Las Vegas as an example, once crowded with millions of Asian tourists yearly. The neon lights are still shining brightly, but hotel rooms are mostly empty. Many shows are canceled, and taxi drivers now drive mostly locals instead of tourists. Politicians boast about tariffs on steel or cars, but tourism brings far more. When tourists stop visiting, America loses both money and its soft power worldwide. A friendly national image is hard to rebuild once it is lost internationally. This is not just numbers, it is about 230,000 American jobs now at risk. When one industry falls, others follow like dominoes, crashing into each other quickly. Hotels, restaurants, gyms, theaters, even gas stations and farmers all lose important business. A cancelled flight in Europe can mean fewer American sales for many companies. This shows how deeply international tourism is connected to the U.S. economy today. Here is the paradox: America claims to be strong and independent economically worldwide. But when fewer Canadians or Germans visit, many industries shake across the country. Tourism is not just about empty airports, it is about jobs and families. Many travelers expect a warm welcome, but instead face long questioning at airports. Phones and laptops are searched, with some tourists even held for hours unfairly. Some travelers are denied entry and deported, making countries warn citizens about America. The welcome red carpet is now replaced with a warning sign for travelers. The US says this is about security, but too much security kills hospitality. And when hospitality disappears completely, so do the international tourists who fuel America. When international visitors hear they could be handcuffed for small visa mistakes, they avoid America. When they don't come, the US economy loses an important source of money. Americans still travel abroad, but ask yourself when you last saw European families buying souvenirs. A man in Maine runs a small shop selling American flag shirts and handmade gifts. He once had many European customers, especially in summer, but now they rarely come. He said, "I never thought my shop depended so much on Germans and French people." Now his store is often empty, while bills for electricity and taxes keep growing. Here's the sad part. By trying to look strong, America is losing its hospitality. Once people connect America with fear at the border, winning them back becomes difficult. From welcome to warning is only separated by a barbed wire fence at the border. When the world views America with suspicion, it is ordinary people who pay the price. Some may say, "I don't care if foreigners come. It doesn't affect me." But do you care about airfare, restaurant bills, or local taxes? They are rising. When tourists don't come, hotels and restaurants raise prices to cover their missing income. A burger that cost $2 is now $8. Hotel nights doubled in price. And the service is worse because there are fewer workers to serve and clean. Almost 20% of U.S. tourism workers are immigrants, but fewer visas mean fewer staff. That leaves restaurants short on servers, hotels without cleaners, and parks without enough workers. The result is longer waits, worse experiences, and higher costs for American families. This affects daily life. Retirees pay more for vacations, and workers lose extra shifts. Families see local taxes rising because cities must replace lost money from international visitors. Florida shows the problem clearly. A major Orlando theme park raised ticket prices by 15%. That means families already struggling must spend $100 more for the same trip. So who pays for an unfriendly America? Not politicians. It is ordinary Americans. We've gone from empty airports to trade losses, and now the cost sits on dinner tables. But what if this continues for another 5 years? The losses could be enormous. Experts say America could lose $100 billion in annual international tourism starting in 2025. That equals 200,000 scholarships or tens of thousands of healthcare spots for older Americans. Airports like JFK and LAX may look like empty malls with no travelers inside. Towns in Colorado or Maine, once lively, may turn into ghost towns with silence. Souvenir shops close. Restaurants go for sale. Hotels gather dust without guests or bookings. Even Disneyland could be quiet, no laughter or lines, only workers sweeping leaves at night. Meanwhile, countries like Japan, Spain, and Canada invite tourists with friendly welcome campaigns. America may even use robots to fill restaurants or parks, creating fake signs of life. This may sound extreme, but it shows what could happen if trends continue. If America keeps pushing visitors away, the dream may sit forgotten on an empty bench. So what can ordinary Americans do now to protect themselves and their families? First, spend smarter. Families can travel locally, enjoy state parks, and support nearby businesses. Second, manage personal finances. Rising costs are a reason to improve savings and investments. Even small decisions at Costco, Walmart, or in a savings account can make a difference. Third, support local shops. Without tourists, small stores and restaurants depend on American customers. Finally, speak up. Tell leaders we need both safety and friendliness to stay strong. Small actions like local trips, smart saving, and eating locally keep America's flame burning. Maybe one day, these actions will turn empty parks into crowded and happy places again. Have you felt America becoming less friendly? Are you willing to pay more for less? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your stories show what is happening more clearly than numbers. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with others interested in this topic. This video is based on reports from international press, tourism groups, and economic experts. It is analysis, not an official statement. The goal is to inform and start discussions. Remember, these stories are not only about numbers. They are about the American dream itself.